Hey there everyone. I thought I'd go through a few bayonets here that I have today. This is the beginning of what will hopefully be a larger collection. I am a novice collector. I only started recently, probably about 2 years ago. But within that time span, I have learned a thing or two about bayonets, and I like to think I know a little bit, about what I'm talking about when I go to look for them and everything. But I'll take you through a few of the ones that I have with me now today. The first bayonet that I'm going to bring out is what I believe to be the German S9805 AA Ultra Art. Does not have a flash guard. This is the very first bayonet that I bought. If you can't tell, I hadn't started collecting yet. But I did walk into the flea market that day hoping to find World War I memorabilia or a World War I bayonet, and sure enough, there was one, or at least what I think to be is one. I'm going to show you a few things that are funny about it. The first thing is that there are no markings on the ricasso on either side. There are no markings on the guard on either side. None on the inside of the guard. Nothing on the spine. Now it does look a little rusty there, but I have checked over thoroughly. I know that blade's in awful condition. I've checked it over thoroughly, but there's no marks there. The only marks that I've ever found on this are on the hilt, and that is the inspection stamps up here that are the Crown W's. Now there's two of those, and I cannot figure out why. Maybe this is some kind of a training bayonet of some sort. The press catch works and everything. It's a little bit rough, but it still works. The other thing that's very funny, I think, about this is it's bent. And I know that's fixable, but I tend to keep my blades and things that I buy in the condition that I get them. Maybe scrub them down with a toothbrush or something, but nothing too extreme. I'm going to pull out my S8498 just to compare and show you how bent that blade is. Look at that. Let me straighten this up. Now the bend starts right about here and then it just takes off. So I did mention that to the guy when I bought it. I said, hey man, it's pretty bent. And he was like, well, maybe someone ran it over with a tractor. So I don't know if he did or if he was trying to reference, in a Flanders field somewhere, somebody ran it over with a tractor and picked it up. Anyways, I got this for for $50 from the guy. I think he had it marked for something ridiculous, like $80-90 or something like that. Originally, yeah, he had it marked for $90 originally. The other thing that I think, it gives it an identifying thing is there's no flash guard here. And zooming in a little bit, you can even see what might be burns from a weapon firing, but it does seem to be some kind of unknown German bayonet. So if anybody has any idea what this is, if it's a replica that somebody just smashed up, or it does have, like I said before, those two inspection stamps on there, but that's it. Okay, so that's the German butcher blade that I got for $50. The second bayonet that I want to show you is the bayonet that you saw in the last portion there, and that is the S8498-3 German bayonet. This is a late World War II model. It was given to me as a gift by my father, and it does not have a sheath, and he did tell me that he got it for $30, and I think that's a pretty good price You know, why not? We'll take a look at the Ricassos here. It says 44 FNJ on the side, which is the Alex Koppel is the maker, and the year is 1944. And flipping it over on this Ricasso, we have 9518 with an M marking. Now, I have seen a few of these bayonets that have an L and I. I think in earlier times they had A, B, C, D, G, something like that for all of the years that they were made. But I think they stopped doing that by the time this one was made. It does have a Bakelite handle with screws instead of rivets. And on most of these, there is an inspection stamp. And I believe that this is an inspection stamp right here. If you can barely see it, right at the edge of my thumb there, that might be the tip of a Nazi eagle, because it is an upswept wing, not a downswept wing. On some of the older German 8498s, they have downswept wings, and this one, or at least from what I can tell, it looks like it is sort of upswept. But anyways, this was just given to me as a gift. Kind of nice. Right here we have a typical late war Type 30 Japanese bayonet. A lot of people call it the Arisaka bayonet. It does have the hooked quillin, wood grips, rivet, sort of squared off bird's head pommel, and the press catch is really easy to operate. The outside of the scabbard is pretty rusty. There's only probably about one dent in this entire thing, and it does look like a late production because it has a tubular end, not a ball-shaped end. Taking the weapon out of its scabbard now, we can see that the blade is actually in fairly good condition. It does have a little bit of a marking on it, but it's not that bad. Right here we can see that it was made in National Denki under Kokura supervision, so this is late war. It's when they moved the Koshikawa arsenal, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but they moved the Koshikawa arsenal to Kokura, and they started producing these later in the war. Now, I don't know exactly when this was made, but I believe somewhere between 36 and 44, 45, something like that. I think you'll find other videos on YouTube and other information that will tell you similar stuff, but typical Japanese Type 30 bayonet. Lady wanted $98 for it, $100, whatever. Told her I'd give her 80. She said fine. Picked it up the same place that I got the butcher blade, so not bad, not what I was looking for at the time, but eventually what I'm going to be looking for my World War II collection. So there's that. I'm pretty excited to show you this next one here, although it is a very, very common find for World War I bayonets. This is a British pattern 1907, of course, with what I believe is the original scabbard. It's leather, it's kind of worked up a little bit, but the blade is in excellent condition. It's still sharp. Doesn't look like anyone's resharpened it, I don't think. I did buy it, again, same flea market that I got the butcher blade and the last example that I showed you, but I did buy this from a separate dealer. All three of them were bought from separate dealers. This particular one happened to be from a dealer that knew what he was talking about, and he had this one marked for, I believe, $110. There's actually a little bit of a story about this, but I won't go into it. But I ended up, just walking up to him with $90 in my hand and saying, "This is what I got. Can I have it?" And he looked at me and sighed, and he said, "All right." So, it's a beautiful example. probably the example that has the most marks on it in my collection. If we zoom in here, we can get a good look at it. Here we see the reign mark right there of King George, and we have the 1907 and the manufacture date. It's July 1915 by Wilkinson Sword Company. On the right, Ricasso here. We have a bunch of different stuff, which looks like a bunch of nonsense when you first look at it if you're not a collector. But what's cool is the amount of information that you can tell from these things. The X is a bend mark test, where they would test steel, and I believe the arrow's the acceptance. The 19 here is a reissue. It was reissued, rechecked in 1919. And then, of course, you've got 4 Enfield approval marks here. So, like I said before, blade's in pretty good condition. It's got a couple nicks in it, but other than that, it's fine. Press catch operates pretty nicely. The wood's not in too awful shape, and it does actually end up being my second favorite in the collection, but my first favorite to show, if that makes sense. On the scabbard here, you can see the leather's pretty worn down. It's getting a little fuzzy up here. And then at the bottom, as well as the top, you have a small marking down here. It says RE, and I believe that RE means Remington, possibly. I don't know if any of you out there can help me with that. I've never found any information on that before. And it does say that up here as well, RE. So by the stapling there. I do have this out of the scabbard because I have a little bit of a rough time getting it in and out of the scabbard, and I don't want to mess up the blade, so I just take it out to display sometimes. So that is my Great Britain pattern 1907. And the last bayonet in my collection that I want to show you is my new favorite bayonet, and my newest acquisition. This is the Swiss Model 1911, some call it Model 1899. And taking a look at it, the scabbard is a common Mauser scabbard, and it's a little dinged up. It's got some kind of a sticker that was on here. I don't know if it was a Swiss symbol or if it was just a price tag at some point or whatever. It does have a nice looking wood grip. A little bit of rust on the pommel and the hilt here. Opening it up, you can see that the blade is in fantastic condition. Obviously it's probably never seen battle, but this particular model was made by, and bear with me here on the name, Waffenfabrik Mühlhausen. I think there's only 2 different producers of bayonets in Switzerland. That's one of them. And the number on the side here, if you take a look, is probably 365763, and I think that probably matches a rifle it was paired to at some point. I don't really know if I'm wrong about that, just let me know. So this is a Swiss 1911. I got it for 60 bucks. I think they go for maybe about $100 or something like that, 60 to 100 bucks. But the other cool thing about this is it's got this little machined groove in the fuller, and I couldn't figure out what that was for until, you know, it clicked, no pun intended. But there's a little screw right here with a little metal piece inside, and when you go to sheath your blade, there's a beautiful click that happens at the end. It's so satisfying. I really like to click it in, but so it holds it in there really well. Now that's the Swiss 1911, and last bayonet in my collection. So that's the end of my collection video for now. These 5 are my current collection, and if you check back in the future, hopefully it'll have grown by then. I am intending to make a collection of World War I and World War II major nations, and then hopefully I can get a US collection started. But these 5 are what I have for now, so thank you for watching. I hope you check back in the future.